Hello, everybody. My lord, it's been a minute, hasn't it? There's like spider webs or something. Ugh. Hey, it's me. It's me, that guy who does the things with the wizard squares. So let's potato to the metal, sweetheart. Activate our NOS because we got the need for speed.
Takeaway 1.
Start your engines is a hell of a way to help define a racing set. While I agree with Sanderson that the set can feel a little bit too wacky racers than anything else, it's still a fun way to communicate revving up and ripping down the track. But here's the thing, it doesn't read that great. I gotta write down a number and then keep track of the number, and later if they blue shell me, I gotta go and adjust it if it's max speed so then my cars even do more stuff. It may seem like a lot. In the past, we've had all new tokens. It was blood and clue and power stones and shards and all sorts of crazy stuff. Hell, we even got land tokens. And while the Lord of the Rings set absolutely destroyed in sales, like holy dragon on a pile of gold type success, it also had the ring Tim shoe thing, and that wasn't the most fun to keep up with. Thankfully, we're just counting to 4 here, and starting at 1, often 2, because you play a card with the mechanic, smash with something else, or trigger a damage from another effect, bam, you're halfway home. There is no better explanation for the type of beating this can provide than in these 2 awesome new black cards, Momentum Breaker and the Speed Demon. And let me tell you, there is a good reason the Speed Demon is a legendary creature, because my god, this thing is incredible. And even when you think it's out of control, drawing you 4 cards per turn and losing you 4 life, here comes Momentum Breaker, a card that already cost them a vehicle or a creature just hanging out on the battlefield that can then be sacked to gain life equal to your speed. This both negates the life loss while providing upside. And is that Shoulders music I hear? Because here she comes alongside Unholy Annex and Ritual Chamber, because yeah, the Speed Demon turns out was a demon all along. Unholy Annex into the Speed Demon gives you an immediate 2 speed, drawing 3 cards total at the end of your turn, gaining life, and gaining that speed is fan-freaking-tastic.
Takeaway 2.
You know the key to creature types, or typal if you will, which sounds like if Tylenol was a nicotine patch. Ask your doctor if typal is right for you. Anyway, the key to those creatures is a tipping point. A card here, a card there, a few cards in conjunction, and then boom goes the dynamite. Well, I think the Gobbos finally got their chance in Standard thanks to a few new sweet cards in the collection. The first is Burnout Bastronaut. Firstly, what a name, am I right? Anyway, there's a reason this card is rare, and that reason is it's one of the best goblins printed in the last few years. A 1/1 with menace, so it's got built-in evasion, the set mechanic to get going on turn 1, and a way to pump mana into it later, because what you gonna do late game with all that mana? All that mana with goblins? I mean, back in the day, we had Skirk Prospector, and that was kind of crap. Oh snap, it's House Squad heavy with the steel chair, man. This card is insane. It fits perfectly in the 3-drop because you know what else is in Standard? What else crept into Foundations and we didn't think much of it? Yeah, it's your boy Cranko, who brings it straight stanko, and I ain't talking about John, is insane on turn 4 when it comes to House Squad on turn 3. Other goblins you control have haste is a hell of a phrase, only seen on Goblin Warchief, who does grant it to himself, and Battlecry Goblin that needs an activation to turn on. Look at this. For Goblin Warchief mana value, it's easier to cast. It features the set mechanic in case that isn't turned on yet. It makes a free attacking goblin every turn, so you can get to max speed 2 to start with anyway. Turn 2 Sear Slicer Goblin gets that sweet raid trigger, and now you're at max speed. You turn this sideways and drop the rest of your hand? This is on 1 card, y'all. My lord, y'all ain't ready, is all I'm saying. Also, one last thing. Remember Bastronaut has that silly pump ability? I wonder why that is. What weird little gobbo could they put in the set to help with things like that? I don't know. It's probably nothing, I'm sure.
Takeaway 3.
Look, affinity is a scary mechanic. Any cost reducing mechanic is, no matter what its form, whether it's Delve or Phyrexian Mana or affinity, things that reduce cost are the playing with fire version of Magic design. And here we are with 4 cards featuring affinity, 3 of which are brand new, all of which are very much playable and awesome. When it comes to affinity, my favorite thing to do is just imagine our best case scenario. What if these cards were reduced as much as possible? Would you pay 1 blue mana for a 3/4 flyer? Or 2 mana to draw 3 and gain 3? Or pay 1 black mana to destroy your opponent's creature and have a 4/3 vehicle stick around? And if you happen to kill one of your own creatures like a token or someone that's been stunned, it's an even bigger vehicle? I won't say much about Gearseeker Serpent, as it's been around since Kaladesh. Now Vishkar and the old Serpent's been doing just fine. The point is, with as many artifacts in this set, with cards like the overpowering Simulacrum Synthesizer already a kick-ass deck, these will slot into a variety of builds. I mean, even the vanilla White Legend is also an artifact. These affinity cards might not make it all the way back to modern affinity, but when it comes to a standard power level, these are still quite good. Even paying a couple mana for a 3/4 flyer is a bargain. Do not sleep on the power of affinity.
Takeaway 4.
Ladies and gentlemen, open your toolboxes. It's Tim the Toolman Taylor here, and he's got a whole bunch of awesome stuff to cook up. While I initially was excited about Oil Deep and Riptide Gearhulk, both still wonderful cards as far as I can tell, it is Brightglass that truly shined when I got to play with it. The fact is, toolbox decks are great, and by that I mean you can include a ton of 1 mana cards for this Gearhulk to tutor up. I mean, artifact, creature, and or enchantments to go get. You ever play a 4 mana 4/4 First Strike Trampler and also get 2 kick-ass cards to boot? I mean, we're talking Ghost Vacuum, Duskrose Reliquary, Shivan Devastator and Goldvein Hydra, Lost Jitte, Mockingbird to do it again next turn, Authority of the Consoles to slow him down. A particular favorite was Progenitor Exarch, remember that guy? Soul Guide Lantern, Haywire Mage, Shard Mage's Rescue to keep it safe, and if you want to drop a clue, go get your wrench, candlestick, lead pipe, knife, or rope and have fun. This card can fetch 3 types of cards, and you get 2 of them, all on top of some fantastic stats. With the Llanowar Elf pushing this out on turn 3, it is quite the value on top of a single mythic. While the other Gearhulks are dope, and the blue-black one in particular is sweet, and then it has that Thought-Not-Seer upside in real life, where your opponent drops their hand after you play it, only for you to declare you're going to cycle one of your own cards. But thanks for the free info. Gotcha.
Bonus takeaway.
Bruh, I don't know exactly who decided that when we discard cards, let's just make things awesome for free, but thanks, because there are 3 cards you now need to be aware of. Marauding Mako, Scourging Skyray, and Monument to Endurance are 3 ridiculous cards. 3 great tastes that taste great together, not to mention each creature can fuel the others by having cycling on them. But it is the Monument that is the real star here, man. I thought a 3 mana artifact that doesn't affect the board in any way when you play it wouldn't be as good as it is, but my god. Like, artist talent exists, along with wacky stuff like Brass's Tunnel Grinder suddenly become relevant again, and that Monument is not legendary. So with 2 or more out, you're truly taking a ride into Magical Christmas Land. And talk about a meta breaker. You know how annoying all of those mono black discard lists are? Bandit's Talent Deck can kiss my whole butt when it comes to these cards, and if you have to discard the hand size, that counts too. So that's it. A few takeaways from my experience playing with the set both in Limited and Constructed. Obviously, we're just scratching the surface here, but I will say this set is no Murders at Karloff Manor. In fact, I'd say the opposite. A set that doesn't read great, but plays fantastic will always be preferred over the inverse. If you dig this, you know what to do. I know it's been a minute since I made a scripted video, so any and all feedback is appreciated. So until next time, Magic players, this is Evan Irwin, tapping the cards so you don't have to.